All right. Well, I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Stay Healthy at Home webinar. We host these every Tuesday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on an array of topics. Today's is a brand new topic, unless you are watching this after December 3rd. I will put a link in the chat where you can see the upcoming webinars and register for our new webinars every month. The first Tuesday of every month is a brand new topic, and then we replay our topics the rest of the Tuesdays. So today we are going to be talking about reverse job fairs. It's going to be presented by myself, Erin Smithers, the director of the New Jersey Self-Advocacy Project, and it's going to be presented by Bianca as well, Bianca Najera, who is our Training and Technical Assistance Coordinator. If you have any questions or if you have anything you want to add to the webinar, there are some questions we'll be asking throughout. We would love some feedback. Feel free to do so in the Q&A box, or you can chat directly with us in the chat box. So the Q&A box can be seen by other participants. The chat box just goes directly to Bianca and myself. All right, so let's get started. First, we're going to talk a little bit about our program. So we are the New Jersey Self-Advocacy Project, or NJSAP, NJSAP for short. We are a division-funded program with the Arc of New Jersey since 1983. We support the state's largest network of individual self-advocates and self-advocacy groups. We offer comprehensive training and resources. We're committed to empowering individuals to speak up for themselves, make their own decisions, and understand their rights and responsibilities. We also provide comprehensive training and resources, not only for self-advocates, but also for direct support professionals, family members, and agency personnel, ensuring that everyone involved has the tools they need to succeed. And you have met myself, Erin Smithers, and you will soon hear from Bianca Najera, our Training and Technical Assistance Coordinator. But we also have Frankie Bayek, who makes us look amazing. She is our Media and Communications Coordinator. Some of the services that we offer are we connect advocates to other services and programs that are available to them. We have 5 councils that span the state of New Jersey, councils 1 through 5. These groups are part of the New Jersey Statewide Self-Advocacy Network, or the NJSSAN. We also provide free trainings like this one on many topics for people with intellectual and/or developmental disabilities and staff members. And then through a grant provided by the Horizon Foundation for New Jersey, we also provide programming Tuesday through Friday for individuals with IDD to learn how to live a healthier lifestyle. We also provide daily self-advocacy content on all of our social media accounts, our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Some other services that we offer are our spring luncheon in March and April, and we just had our 40th annual Fall Conference last October 5th. The luncheon is an awards event where we celebrate the advocacy efforts of people and services around New Jersey. The conference is an educational event where we come together to learn more about advocacy and supporting people with IDD. We also have our Governmental Affairs Ambassador Program, or GAP program. We work with advocates to testify before the Senate and the Assembly, the Department of Human Services, and anywhere else that word needs to get out about how people with IDD need certain services and accommodations. We also work with other agencies and chapters of the ARC to help support their agenda and their goals. So today we're going to be talking about reverse job fairs, which is a fairly new idea. It's a unique approach to job fairs where job seekers showcase their skills and experience while employers come to them. Typically, the employers set up stations and job seekers go around But this is a different idea, and we're going to talk more about that. This session is designed to help you understand what a reverse job fair is, its benefits for both job seekers and employers, and how you can effectively organize or participate in one. And with that, I'll turn it over to Bianca.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Erin. As she has mentioned, we are going to be talking about a reverse job fair today. So I would like to get more into detail as to what that is today. So a reverse job fair is the opposite of what we would think of as a traditional job fair. Instead of employers setting up their booths as we would typically see, the job seekers do. Um, this is an event where job seekers get to set up booths to present their skills, their experiences, and their projects, while the employers are the ones who circulate around the room to find a suitable candidate for their company, program, or organization. Um, this format allows the job seekers to be able to take control of the job search process by actively demonstrating their talent in a creative way. It can be especially impactful in industries where portfolios or hands-on work are important to showcase. So especially if you're involved in any kind of career field where you really need to show off your talents, this is a really good opportunity for you to do that. So for those of you who are familiar with a traditional job fair, this can also be a refreshing change for you to see some really great candidates out there as well. Now, there's a couple of differences when we come to think of a reverse job fair compared to our traditional job fair. The primary difference is the setup. When we tend to think of a traditional job fair, we tend to think of going into a room where different companies, programs, or organizations have tables set up with information. But in a reverse job fair, we see that the job seekers, the individuals trying to get a job, are the ones who have their table set up. They're maybe showcasing their resumes or projects that they have worked on. They're trying to make themselves stand out at their own table as well. So that's where we would see the primary difference. We see that the job seekers are able to take on the driver's seat when it comes to a reverse job fair as well. Um, this changes the dynamic completely because it encourages a more meaningful interaction than when it's just individuals going up to employers. It's the employers coming up to the job seekers instead and being able to ask them more questions about who they are, what they're interested in, and maybe what they're showcasing as well. So instead of the seekers feeling like they're just one in a big crowd of individuals looking for a job, they get to create a tailored presentation that showcases exactly what makes them unique.
So, an overview of what we're going to be talking about and what we're going to be covering today. Um, we will be covering the concept and benefits of reverse job fairs, tips for preparation, organizing your own event, and even showing some examples of successful events with pictures. Throughout this session, we'll also discuss best practices for job seekers and employers and solutions to common challenges you might face in a reverse job fair. We'll also talk about technology and best practices, as well as measuring success and the future trends of reverse job fairs.
So let's dive a little deeper into the concept of a reverse job fair. It's all about the job seekers getting to be the exhibitors, the spotlight being on them. So the job seeker will typically set up their booth to showcase any previous work that they've worked on, anything that they're really proud of. This could be an artwork, this could be a written essay, depending on what career field you're in. This could be different items that you're showcasing, anything that's going to make you stand out, focusing on what you're trying to get a job in, while the employers are walking around, getting to engage with these job seekers, ask them questions, and get to know them better. This concept works really great for those individuals who have something to show off. So I want you guys to take the time today to think about how you would set up your booth. What would be the main thing that you would want to show off? Would it be a specific project? Would it be your resume? Would it be a specific talent that you're trying to showcase? So if you were the one to set up your booth today, what would you want to put in your booth? What would you be showcasing?
So let's look at the benefits for job seekers or for those who are trying to get a job. First, it allows you to directly showcase your skills. Instead of simply talking about your abilities, you can demonstrate them with real projects or portfolios. This format also increases visibility. You're no longer one of hundreds of applicants. You have a booth that makes you stand out specifically. There are also a bunch of networking opportunities. You'll get to interact with multiple employers in a more personalized setting. You can customize your booth as well to emphasize specific strengths. So it's a little bit of a different format, but it's meant to highlight you, your skills, your projects, your portfolio, your resume, everything that you have done that comes together to showcase why you would be amazing for a specific job or a specific field. So another question to think about is, do you have a specific strength that you would want to highlight in your booth? If you're looking for a job in a certain field, what is maybe something that you can put in your booth to showcase that strength? If you are looking for a job in uh, hospitality or in a restaurant, things like that, you could maybe showcase some cooking skills or some recipes that you've come up with, or your personality, how personable you are if you're looking for something in hospitality. When you set up your booth, you just want to make sure that you are highlighting those strengths that showcase why you are a good fit for that field.
So just like there's benefits for job seekers, there's also a couple of benefits to the employers who are searching for individuals to work for them as well. From the employer's perspective, a reverse job fair makes talent scouting much more efficient as well. Instead of reading through a whole bunch of resumes, they get to observe candidates' skills firsthand and get to question them and get to learn more about them at that first initial interaction as well. They also get a better sense of the candidate's personality, your passions, your creativity, by interacting directly with the job seeker. For employers, this kind of job fair is like getting a mini interview with candidates in an informal setting before actually asking them to come in for that official interview as well. So this can also be much more efficient for the employers when they're trying to find a candidate that's going to be a good fit for their company as well.
So let's talk a little bit about preparation for job seekers when attending a reverse job fair. To start off, your preparation is key. So you want to have a well thought out booth that makes a fantastic first impression. Create an engaging booth that's going to bring people to you, but it's also going to let them know exactly what field you're looking to enter. You want to use visual aids like posters, infographics, even multimedia to engage employers, something that they can participate with. and interact with. Your booth should also display your portfolio, your other projects that you've worked on. You don't want to forget the basics though, like business cards, your resumes, things like that. You also want to have a professional appearance. You want to dress appropriately to make a good impression as if you were on an interview. You want to practice your networking skills, prepare questions for employers as well, just as you would for an interview.
And equally as important as all those different steps we can take towards preparing is our elevator pitch. Elevator pitch is a brief way to professionally introduce yourself. This most likely is going to be the first thing you might say to the employer when they come up. Um, you want to be concise, but you also want to be impactful. So, an activity that you can practice when you are going to go to a fair like this or participate in one is prepare your elevator pitch ahead of time. Practice how you might introduce yourself. You can practice a brief introduction about who you are, what you do, and why you would be a great fit. This could be personalized to different companies, or you could just have a generic elevator pitch, which you could use to introduce yourself to any employer that comes up to you as well. But this is very important when it comes to participating in a job fair because this is the first interaction you might have with a potential employer, and this is how you're going to introduce yourself to them. So we have this flyer from Indeed. It's of 4 steps on how you can create your elevator pitch. Let's go over the steps together today. So the first step is you want to start by introducing yourself. So the example here is they have, "Hi, my name is Sarah. It's so nice to meet you." So we want to say hi to them, hello, and then we want to share our name and some kind of greeting. Number 2, we want to provide a summary of what we do. So their example is I'm a PR manager specializing in overseeing successful initiative launches from beginning to end. So here's where you would input your summary of what you're interested in or what you're participating in at that moment that is related to the career field you're looking to go into. Number 3, explain what you want, what you're looking for. So in their example, I find the work your PR team does to be innovating and refreshing. I love the opportunity to put my expertise to work for your company. So this one sounds kind of generic. Would most likely be used for different companies. But again, you could keep in mind what kind of employers and companies you're hoping will come up to you and maybe make it more personalized in this section, or you could do a generic one as well. And number 4, what we want to finish our elevator pitch is with a call to action. So in their example, it's, would you mind not if I set up a quick call next week for us to talk about any upcoming opportunities on your team? So this is a step where you want to open the door to potentially being in more communication with that specific employer, or take this as an opportunity to ask them a question that you had about their specific company or the job opening they have. So these are the 4 steps you want to take into consideration when creating your elevator pitch. Keep in mind, this is going to be different for everyone depending what career field you're in and what you're interested in as well. I have a couple of examples here. Depending on what career field you're looking into, on the left side, you could see I have an executive assistant position that someone is interested in, and that's what their job, their elevator pitch might look like. While on the right side, I have an example for a graphic designer. So I color code them as you can see. So if we look at the executive assistant exam, it says, "Hi, my name is Mark Smith. It's nice to meet you." So they're introducing themselves, they're sharing their name, they're giving a nice greeting. And then they go on to say, "After graduating with my bachelor's degree in business administration, I've spent the last 3 years building professional experience as an executive assistant. I've successfully managed end-to-end event coordination and have generated a strong professional network for my colleagues." So they're giving a little summary of maybe their experience or what they're working on currently. And then they continue to say, "I was excited to learn about this opportunity in the sports management space." So this is a more detailed um, explanation of what they're looking for in their elevator pitch. And then they finish up by saying, "I would love the opportunity to bring my project management and leadership abilities to this position." So they finish off by sharing that they're interested in working with them in that position that they have open as well. So we can see that's an example of what your elevator pitch could be if you were looking to work as an executive assistant. Now on the right side, we have an example of a graphic designer. So we can see she starts by saying, "Hi, I'm Molly Smith. So nice to meet you." Again, she introduces herself and has a nice greeting. She goes on to say, "I'm a graphic designer at ABC Inc., where I'm passionate about creating beautiful, intuitive designs for a variety of marketing collateral for our top tier clients. Before that, I got my master's in graphic design." So she shares a little bit of a summary of her education, of what she's working in as well. So a little blurb about herself. She goes on to say, "I'm looking for experience to learn more about career paths and ways to grow into assuming an art director role in the next few years. Your work with the XYZ brand has inspired the ways I think about the design." So again, this is an example of very specific because they're adding a specific brand name. So they're talking about that specifically, but they're sharing what they're looking for in that role in company as well. Then they finish off by saying, "I would love to talk more about a potential mentorship with you if that's something you have time for and would be interested in." So they kind of open the doors with that employer to continue communicating with them about this potential job as well. So these are just examples that you could take into consideration. Yours could be a little bit different depending on what career field you're looking into. But this is something you can definitely put into practice as well. You can do this as an activity at any moment that you know you're going to maybe go into an interview or you're going to be participating in a job fair. This is the first thing you're going to say to a potential employer. So it's very important to take into consideration. You can create your own elevator pitch and practice it with others or in front of a mirror. So this is something you can continuously practice so you feel more comfortable when the situation does come up as well. You can even practice it with others and you could get feedback from them on what you could even change on your elevator pitch. So this is an activity you can work on to get prepared for participating in a job fair as well.
And just like job seekers need to prepare for the reverse job fair, employers do as well. It's important to know what skills and positions they're looking for and to plan a strategy for visiting booths. This ensures they're not overwhelmed by the number of candidates. They should also prepare targeted questions ahead of time that help them assess the skills and qualities that they're looking for. They should plan how to approach candidates. Are you going to seem friendly and informal? Are you going to be very serious and not interact much? Are you going to be over professional? How do you want to interact with the potential candidates for the job that you're looking to fill? If anyone here has been to a reverse job fair or visited any other booths at a traditional job fair, what do you think is the first thing looked at for a candidate? There are some things that we talk about in our employment training about the first thing that someone hears and sees. So it's important to think about if you were visiting booths at a job fair, what would be the first things you would notice as an employer, and then you can put those into action in your booth as a job seeker.
Today, we also want to share some successful examples of where a reverse job fair has also been done. So, for example, Rutgers University has actually organized a reverse job fair before. These events have allowed their students from various programs like business, engineering, and IT to set up booths that showcase their projects and skills. And employers have participated by giving students the opportunity to present their work in a more interactive way compared to a traditional job fair. As well as Rowan University has also hosted a reverse job fair, especially for students in the STEM fields. This event has helped their students to demonstrate their technical expertise through interactive booths and hands-on projects. Companies were able to interact with candidates directly, leading to several hires in technical roles. And as well, the College of New Jersey, also known as TCNJ, has organized a reverse job fair before to connect their students with employers from local industries. TCNJ's Career Center worked closely with employers in education, healthcare, and technology areas. And this event allowed their students to show off their work portfolios, which actually attracted various organizations. So, a lot of colleges have started to implement this kind of job fair into their school, and they have actually held a couple of successful ones, as we can see. These examples show that reverse job fairs can lead to real meaningful outcomes for both job seekers and employers. So hopefully, as more people become more aware of what a reverse job fair is, we won't only see these on college campuses, we'll see this around a lot more, and we can see how successful this kind of job fair can also be.
So let's talk a little bit about how to organize a reverse job fair. It can seem like a big task, but breaking it down into clear steps makes it much more manageable. So first is the venue selection. The first step is choosing a venue. You want to look for a space that is large enough to accommodate both the booths for job seekers and room for employers to circulate freely. You want to consider accessibility. Your venue should be easy for all participants to navigate. Schools, community centers, or large conference halls often work well. You want to also make sure that the venue has access to Wi-Fi, power outlets, and possibly screens or projectors if candidates need them for their booths. You want to anticipate all the needs that could arise during the job fair. Next, you want to set up a time and a time and a date. You want to have a timeline established. So choose a date far enough in advance to allow for proper planning, marketing, and registration. Creating a timeline that includes key deadlines, when to open registration, deadlines for booth setup, and when to start promoting to employers is important. You want to avoid dates that conflict with major holidays or other big events in your community. The next step would be the registration and the booth setup. For the registration, you can use platforms like Eventbrite, Handshake, which is available for students, and other means that are available to people who would be interested in attending. The booth setup is critical. Job seekers should be given guidelines on how to organize their space, including what materials they can bring, like portfolios, business cards, and any interactive elements. You want to provide job seekers with booth sizes ahead of time and offer recommendations on how to make their booth visually appealing and engaging. Next, you want to set up marketing and promotion. Marketing is essential to attracting both job seekers and employers. You want to use social media platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram to spread the word around. Collaborating with local universities, job training centers, or industry associations can help you reach a wider audience. For employers, you may want to take a more targeted approach, reaching out to your existing network of local businesses or use industry-specific newsletters and forums to help promote the event. You can also send direct invitations to potential employers. And then the last step is on-the-day coordination. On the day of the event, a smooth coordination is crucial. You'll want to have staff or volunteers ready to help with setup, registration, and troubleshooting any technical or logistical issues. Consider assigning volunteers to greet employers as they arrive and provide them with a map or a list of the booths to visit. Having clear layout plan can prevent confusion and help with the crowd flow. So if you have a bunch of people who are looking to work in a certain field, you might think about putting them together to make everything more organized. But these are just some steps that you can follow to organize your own reverse job fair.
We specifically want to emphasize the importance of marketing and promotion when it comes to these kind of job fairs, though, because you do want to attract both job seekers and employers to come out to the event to get a larger group out there as well. For job seekers, you may want to use platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook to spread the word that you're going to be at this event, showcasing your skills. Maybe reach out to friends and share that this event is going on as well. Employers can also use newsletters at their own companies or forums that they have to share that this event's going on to see if any specific departments are looking to hire anyone. This would be a great opportunity for them as well. You also want to consider direct outreach. So maybe you're looking for a specific employer or companies, organizations to come see you at this job fair, or you're looking for that specific field to come out. So maybe you want to specifically reach out to them, give them a call or send them an email, letting them know that this event is going on as well. You want to collaborate with universities and training centers as they typically hold events like this, so they have a wider outreach to get to. So this might increase the possibility of more job seekers and employers participating in this event. So you don't just want to organize it and just hope for the best. You want to market it as much as you can, promote it as much as you can, especially nowadays with social media. You want to put it out there that this event is going on so you get a larger amount of participation in this as well.
So you also want to focus on the technology and the tools. Technology just plays a huge role in everything, but especially in job fairs. Platforms like Eventbrite or Google Forms can help with registration, and they're typically free for the person who is hosting the event. Social media is also a great tool for promotion. You want to reach out to your local community and have them share it on their social media as well. When an employer comes on board and is going to be attending the job fair, definitely ask them to share it on their social media. The same with job seekers. When they confirm that they're going to be setting up a booth, have them share it on their social media platforms, because the more people that you reach, the greater outcome you will have for the job fair. Virtual reverse job fairs have also become more popular as well. As you know, virtual programming has great possibilities and accessibility. You have the benefit of reaching a lot more people than having people come to a local area. As we know, transportation could be an issue, staffing could be an issue to help with transportation. So, virtual would definitely cut that challenge out. It's also cost effective. Most of the time, most people have Zoom set up, and if not, there are free platforms you can use like Google Meet. You want to include employers also who might not be able to attend in person. A virtual reverse job fair would be a lot easier for them to attend if they are located not somewhere that is local um, to where you are trying to host your event. However, both employers and job seekers need to be comfortable using the technology, as tech proficiency is essential for navigating virtual platforms. So, you want to make sure that if you're hosting an event on Zoom, the people who are participating, whether it's the employers or the job seekers, know how to use that platform. If you're asking them to use Eventbrite, you want to make sure that people know how to register on Eventbrite. The good thing about Google Forms and Eventbrite is it's very user friendly, the same with Zoom. So using user-friendly technology can also have a huge benefit to having more people participate. There's also the possibility of technical difficulties. As we know, that just happens. You can't control that, and it always seems to happen right at the worst times. So it's important to have people on hand who can help in this scenario while you are focusing on something else. So maybe have volunteers set up to handle any questions that come in on the chat, or if someone's talking about their audio not working, you can have a volunteer work with them to help them get their audio back up. Proper preparation can minimize these challenges that could take place. So, again, the more you prepare, the better your event is going to be. Some useful tools for virtual fairs include networking apps and interactive booths with chat and video call features. Again, Zoom has breakout rooms that you can use where people can go visit the different breakout rooms, which are the virtual booths. And in that, you can share your screen and showcase, again, your projects and the things that you want to highlight, your skills that you want to focus on. There's also outside networking apps that you can use to facilitate connections. So maybe setting up a time to meet someone on another platform to show them the skills that you have gained on that platform, especially if you're looking to get a career in a tech field or a STEM field. It's important to show that you have knowledge in a lot of different areas online. So, having a designated time where you meet with someone to show them those skills could be very beneficial as well. And we're going to show you some examples of what a virtual reverse job fair can look like. Some are more tech friendly than others, depending on what platform you're using. So there are some, like we said, platforms designed specifically for virtual career fairs, or you can just have a basic one on Zoom where you have breakout rooms. But it is always a great option to have that set up, because, like we talked about, there are some challenges with attending in person involving transportation and location. So having the option of a virtual possibility is going to make your event more successful.
Some good practices for job seekers to also put into practice to make that really good first impression at these job fairs is to make sure that they're using clear and professional visuals, and displaying as much of their work that they're really proud of as they can. Remember, these booths are the ones who are going to be making the impact on the employers who are going to be coming up to you. So anything that you are displaying on your booth, you want it to grab the employer's attention. So you definitely want to display your best work at these booths to get the attention of those employers. You also want to have effective communication. Once you're able to grab the attention of those employers and they do come up to you, you want to practice effective communication. You want to put your elevator pitch into practice. You want to practice how you communicate with others, as when that situation does come up, you want to be concise and confident when talking to them as well. So, a big part of this is that elevator pitch we mentioned before. So, if you can tailor your pitch to that employer that did come up to you, um, whether you're tailoring it to that specific employer or company, if you can, because that's going to create a better relationship with that potential employer as well. You also want to put follow-up techniques into practice. So anyone who does come up to you, you want to be able to share maybe your resume or your business card with them, but you also want to collect it from them. If they have any business cards or any information or flyers that they can share with you, you want to make sure you grab that as well. That way you can send thank you emails after the event to anyone who you might have had a conversation with. Remember, even though that an event like this is much more efficient for employers, they are talking to several individuals at this event as well. So sending an email afterwards, just thanking them for coming to talk to you and interacting with you, just shows your interest with that company and that decision, and goes to show that you can be professional as well. So that's always a good idea to follow up with anyone who might have interacted with you and might be a potential employer as well.
There are some best practices for employers as well. You'll want to maximize your interactions with candidates. Allocate enough time for each booth. Take notes on your interactions to remember key details. Might be a good idea to take notes on the business cards you collect of any observations you make or anything that sticks out that you want to remember. You should also evaluate your candidates. And when you do so, it's important to use structured criteria so you can make informed decisions after the event. It's all well and good when you're there, but it's important to remember those little details and the things that really stuck out to you when you're leaving and when you're done with the event. You also should have some follow-up strategies as an employer. You want to follow up with any promising candidates quickly, either through thank you emails or even scheduling follow-up interviews. If you think someone is a really good fit for the position you're looking for, follow up quickly. If they stuck out to you, they probably stuck out to other people as well.
Now, just like with a traditional job fair, a reverse job fair does not come without its challenges as well. There's quite a couple of challenges that you could end up dealing with when the event does come up. So, for example, you could have logistical issues like venue issues. Maybe you're having trouble getting a venue. So that's why I always recommend looking at universities or training facilities that have held events like this before. You might also have issues with crowd management. Um, so you want to lay a good structure of where the booths are, maybe put arrows on the floor to tell people in which direction they should be walking as well. Or maybe limit how many people can come into the building at a time. Those are some things you want to take into consideration. You also want to consider how are you going to keep the participants engaged. This can be tricky, right? So easily to have employers come into the room and look around, and they might get overwhelmed with how many candidates there are. So you do want to plan for that. How are you going to structure everything? How are you going to keep everyone engaged? How are you going to keep the room flowing and managing the crowd? But there are solutions for all of these challenges that may come up. You don't want to get overwhelmed by anything. With detailed planning and clear communication with everyone involved in planning this, most of these challenges can be resolved or reduced as well. So you want to make sure that both the job seekers and the employers are well prepared and they know what to expect from this event. So again, a lot of that goes with marketing and promotion, setting up where your venue is going to be, maybe having an idea of what it's going to look like that day, having a setup or where each booth is going to be and sharing that beforehand can be helpful as well. So challenges may come up along the way, but as long as you try your best to prepare ahead of time and have clear communication with everyone involved, you're going to have a great event as well.
And so, how do we know if it was a successful event? So, for job seekers, it's all about the number of connections, meaningful connections that were made. And if you've scheduled any interviews, that is the goal, right? The goal is to become hired in your field that you're looking for. So if you have scheduled interviews, you have a higher chance of getting hired at one of those locations. For employers, success can be measured by the number of potential hires. How many people did you see that stood out to you that would be a good fit for the position that you're trying to fill? These are the ways of measuring success. For the planner of the event, you know that you had a successful event when both of those things are done. So, did job seekers make any connections? Were employers able to find job seekers that would be a good fit for them? And once you've had one event that is successful, you'll be able to successfully do more events more confidently.
Now that the event has been held, a big important part of it is also getting feedback and seeing what you can improve on. So let's say you're the job seeker, something that you can do is use surveys and questionnaires post event. So maybe reach out to anyone who you were able to interact with, or the organizers are able to send out any surveys or questionnaires to see on what the event as a whole can be improved on, but to also see what you could improve on as a job seeker. Maybe there was something that really caught the eye of employers that you showcased at your booth. Maybe it was your personality that really caught their attention. So that just helps bring insight to you as the job seeker or as the planner of the event to see how the event went as well. So it's always a good idea to try to collect some feedback to see what you could work on or what you did really good on as well. And from the employer's perspective as well, it's always a good idea to get feedback from them to see how they saw the event, if this was actually helpful to them, if they actually were able to more efficiently get potential hires from this event and how this kind of event could flow more smoothly on their end of things as well. Any feedback that you do receive, whether it is through sending surveys or through just talking to individuals, you want to analyze that feedback and identify areas for improvement and then implement them. So, again, as the job seeker, maybe there's something where employers mention that you should showcase some more of your projects. Maybe you should put out business cards and you didn't before. So, now you know, and you can get a higher chance of being hired for next time. Or if you're the event planner, maybe you're hearing a lot of people complain that there's not a lot of flow going through the room, that it's really hard to get to certain candidate. So next time you know that you need to rearrange the setup of the booth. So it's always a good idea to try to get feedback and try to improve on what feedback you're receiving and actually implement it as well. Right. To finish off, we just want to show you what a reverse job fair could look like. These are some examples of reverse job fairs that have been held. You can see that employers are the ones who are coming up to the job seekers. You can see how they have their booths set up. They have their information up there. They have projects that they're showcasing. Some are very detailed and organized, while others are more creative. They're showcasing artwork. They have pictures, while others don't. Some of them, maybe they're projecting something. Others are just using projects or um, pages to showcase their work. So everyone does it in a different way, but we can see that it's the job seekers who are presenting themselves to employers as well. So this is what an event like this can look like. It's going to be different how everyone showcases themselves depending on what career field they're trying to get involved in. But this could be a really great opportunity for anyone who's looking to get hired as well. So to get an idea, if you're still unsure of how it could look different compared to a traditional job fair, you can take a look at the pictures we're sharing on the screen. This is what a reverse job fair in person could look like. It's that job seeker presenting themselves and showcasing all of the work they have to share as well.
I just want to add to that you can see how each one looks incredibly different, but they're trying to attract different people. So the person on the bottom left, she is looking to become a teacher. So her booth looks like bulletin boards you would see in a school. And it kind of just, as soon, without even reading anything, just looking at that, I can tell that she's looking to be a teacher, specifically early childhood education, elementary education, and she has her projects and things she would do with the kids on the table. Looking at the picture on the right, you can see that that is more technology based. Again, without reading anything on the booth, you can see that there's a tech project that he is showcasing. You can just, these are done so well because you can just see and sense the field that they're looking to go in just by how the booth looks. So they did a really great job setting that up. They probably were able to draw people in. They could tell exactly what they were looking for. So if I'm a principal at a school and I'm looking to find teachers, I would know to go right to the person on the bottom left because that is exactly what her booth is set up to look like. Whereas the person on the right, maybe if I was specifically looking for a science teacher, but if I'm just looking for a general education teacher, I would know that that's not really someone who's looking to go into the field. So the way that you set up your booth really does matter. And these are great examples to showcase.
So if you ever do get the opportunity to participate in a reverse job fair, it's a really great way to get employers to see what you have to show off. So definitely take advantage of that if you ever do come to the opportunity. Again, they're still not as common because people haven't heard of a reverse job fair as much, but hopefully as we continue to see into the future, we'll see that reverse job fairs do start to become more and more popular when we're trying to look for a job. Awesome. Well, you can always reach out to us if you have any more questions. Our email is listed up there as well, and our phone number. You can always find us on social media or on our website. I know we have a couple minutes left, so I just want to leave some time to see if anyone has any questions.
We also put the link in the chat to register for our upcoming webinars or to see all of our past recorded webinars as well. If you think of any questions after the webinar is over, please do not hesitate to contact us and let us know, and we'll help out in any way that we can. But thank you all so much for being here.